Hello, welcome to yoga class. Today we will be exploring standing yoga poses. For this class, it'll be very beneficial for you to have 2 yoga blocks and 1 strap. If you don't have a strap, you can use something else in your home space like a belt, a scarf, or maybe even a towel. Standing yoga poses are beneficial for strengthening and stretching all groups of muscles in the legs, particularly the thighs, hamstrings, glutes, calves, and ankles. The standing poses also allow access to the spine so that poor spinal posture or imbalance and injuries can be addressed. The standing poses develop awareness of the correct way to stand. So know that for the duration of this class, we're going to be on our feet as the foundation. So go ahead and see how that feels in your body by coming into mountain pose. To come into mountain pose, open up your feet hip distance. Looking down to your feet, positioning them about 6 inches apart at the arches of the feet. Mountain pose, also known as Tadasana, is the standing pose, arms out to the sides, palms are facing forward. Now in this posture, soften the knees. Pull the belly button in towards the spine. That's going to be more comfortable for your low back. Now close your eyes and simply breathe here in this strong foundational pose. Feel your feet rooted down into the mat. Take a deep inhale to the top of the breath. Exhale, open the mouth, let it go. Try that again. Inhale all the way to the top of the breath. And when you're ready to exhale, release the air slowly. Take one more full round. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Now, heel toe the feet closer together all the way until the big toes meet. Leave a little space at the heels, maybe an inch or half an inch. And just rock forward and back, rocking forward onto the toes and then back into the heels. Feeling really rooted and grounded. Coming into a side body stretch. As you inhale, lift your arms up. Let the palms meet. Position the ears between the biceps. On your next inhale, reach the fingers up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, fold over to one side. Now, as your arms move to one side, let the hips move to the opposite side. Feel a nice stretch and opening in the side body. Next inhale brings the fingertips back up. And then exhale, take the arms opposite direction. As the arms lean over to one side, the hips move to the other side. Keep both feet grounded. Take a little micro bend in the knees if that's more comfortable. And then inhale, fingers rise up. Exhale, open the arms. From here, take your palms to your glutes. Imagine that you're wearing jeans and that you're positioning your hands in your jeans pockets. Now bring your elbows towards each other. Feel the shoulders move back. Lift your heart towards the ceiling, face up to the ceiling. And slowly and carefully come out. Release the arms, finding your way back to Tadasana pose. Inhale, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips. Come into a forward fold. Now, as you come into your forward fold, you might bend the knees if your hamstrings are tight today. If your hamstrings are more open, then you might be able to straighten your legs. You might benefit from bending and straightening. If you feel stressed, if your palms and fingertips don't meet the mat, then this is where you can incorporate your blocks. Taking the blocks to whatever height helps you Positioning the hands on the blocks, try the different heights. And now maybe the fold will feel more accessible. Lower the top of the head down towards the mat. Know that you can take another variation of bringing your hands to opposite elbows. So you're framing your head with your arms, providing more traction for your spine. Maybe you bend one knee at a time. As one knee bends, opposite leg straightens. Allow yourself to move gently. We're at the start of our practice. Maybe you like to bend your knees, feeling your belly at your thighs. And then on an exhale breath, practice straightening the legs. If your hands have grabbed onto the elbows, go ahead and release them. Hanging here like a rag doll. If the hamstrings are really open, you might take your hands to your ankles and then pull your torso towards your legs. This is going to be a much deeper stretch, so just listen to your body. Notice if your body's ready for this. Now, release the hands. Take the hands from wherever they are, palms to the shins. Taking a half lift. Reach the crown of your head forward. Reach your tailbone back, energetically lengthening the spine. And on your next exhale, fold again. Inhale, bend the knees, sit back, lift the arms forward. Come into chair pose. Squeeze the thighs together. Maybe sit back a little more. Just make sure the knees don't come past the toes. If you're feeling like you need support with your balance, you can bring your palms to the wall in front of you, stepping closer to the wall, or you can take your hands to hold on to a chair. So we've got lots of options. Practice sitting a little lower, and then exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, soften. Roll up to standing position. Take your time. Let your head come up last. As you come into the standing position, back into Tadasana. Inhale, lift the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, take the shoulders back and down. Take a couple more rounds. Inhale, lift the shoulders up. Exhale, take the shoulders back and down. And again, one more. Now set the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, reach the arms up, gathering energy. Exhale, hinge at the hips. And as you fold forward, take your hands to reach for your blocks. Position the blocks at the highest height. Now looking at your feet, step your right foot back just halfway, about 3 feet or so. And position the blocks underneath the shoulders. Now both legs are straight. Your back foot, your right toes can rotate to the right side of the mat. Take an inhale breath on your half lift. And then as you exhale, bend your elbows to fold your torso towards your front leg. Now, depending on how open your left hamstring is, you might not need the blocks. You might bring your fingertips or your palms down to the mat. However, if this is going way too deep, please honor your body by coming back onto the blocks. That is why we have props, to support our practice. So please support yourself and take care of your body. On your next inhale breath, find a half lift. Exhale, soften the left knee, step the right foot forward, go straight into a forward fold. Inhale, find a half lift. Exhale, now step the left foot halfway back. Rotate those left toes to the left edge of the mat. Now working with your hands on your blocks or grounded down to the mat. As you exhale, bend those elbows to lower the torso towards the right leg. Feel into the right hamstring. This is pyramid pose. As you fold at the top of your head, lower down towards the mat. Notice your breath. On your next inhale, left foot in line with the right, go straight into a forward fold. Move the blocks just out to the sides for now. From your forward fold, bend the knees deeply, feel the belly on the thighs. Now take your time to slowly roll up to standing. Pressing feet to the ground. Letting the head come up last. Protecting your body. And as you find this standing pose, coming back now to Tadasana. Now, know that we're going to take a series of standing poses. We're going to work with one side first. Start by taking your hands to your hips. We're going to leave that right foot forward. So lean weight into the right foot. Lift the left foot, step it back, position it at 45 degrees. Now, we want that right knee bent, tracking above the right ankle. With your back foot, your left foot, press the pinky edge of the foot into the mat, so much that it might feel like the arch of the foot is lifting up. Back leg is straight, front knee is bent. Now, when we turn forward and we lift our arms up, we're coming into our warrior one. If you feel that your hip points aren't facing forward, but rather to the side, then go ahead and heel toe your front foot open wider so that now the front of the hips can face forward. Warrior one, arms come up. Position the ears between the biceps. Gaze is forward, breathe. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Take a couple more rounds of breath. Let the legs strengthen. If you want to challenge yourself, you can practice lifting your toes. Last, exhale in this shape. Lower the hands down. Now, if you worked your foot out wider, heel toe it back into that starting point. Rotate your back foot to 90 degrees. Now, as you rotate your back foot to 90 degrees, look at both of your feet. Position your front heel in line with your back heel. Also try positioning your front heel in line with the arch of your back foot. Try both variations, see which one your body likes, and then come into that one as we set up for warrior two. So for warrior two, we want the right knee still bent over the ankle, and we want to make sure that this knee is not coming into the midline. Keep that knee out so that you can see your big toe and second toe. Then fly the arms. So your fingers are reaching in different directions. They're reaching away from each other. Your gaze is to your right middle finger. Now make sure that you're not reaching forward and that you're not reaching back. Let your torso be centered. Warrior two. Exhale, let it go. Now press into that front leg to straighten the leg. Reach the front arm forward. Now we're going to rotate the arms for triangle. You might feel more supported by inviting a block to the inside of the foot. Positioning your bottom hand on the block, reaching your top fingers up. Stacking the arms. Now practice opening the chest and gazing up to the ceiling. Feel a nice stretch in the inner thigh. Think about rotating that top shoulder and that top hip back as if you're pressing up against a wall. If it hurts your neck to look up, you can rotate your head so that you're facing down to the mat. Now on the next inhale, we're gonna come out. We're gonna keep the legs straight, but you can take a little micro bend in that front knee if that feels better. Now we're simply gonna reverse the arms for reverse triangles. So now the left hand comes back to the left leg, the right fingers reach up, gaze up. Feel a nice stretch now on the right side. One more round of breath in reverse triangle. Now bend your front knee, come back to warrior two as a transitional point. Coming into peaceful warrior, we're gonna leave that front knee bent. Lower the back arm. Inhale, reach the front fingers up. Gaze up. You might leave your hand at your back leg, or you might decide to bring your forearm to your back. And then you might reach your front arm overhead, going deeper. Pay attention to keep a bend in that front knee and to press to the outer edge of that back foot. Slowly come out, back to warrior two. Now setting up for extended side angle. Bend your front arm. Lower your forearm to the middle of your thigh. Avoid placing your forearm on your knee. Now rotate your top arm up. You can stay here, or you can take your arm overhead. So now you've got a long line of energy from your back foot all the way through your fingertips, opening up. And then maybe you swivel the chest to gaze up to the ceiling. Extended side angle. On your next inhale breath, rotate those arms to center. Press into that front leg, straighten the leg. Let the hands come down. Now, the toes are facing forward. We're gonna rotate the toes facing the same direction as the back foot. So if the block is in your way, pick it up, place it to the other side of the mat. We're gonna come back to it on the other side. Now rotate these toes forward. All 10 toes are facing the same direction. Now look down to your feet. Bring the heels in, toes are positioned out. Now bend your knees, take your palms to your thighs. Coming into a goddess squat. Take the heels of your hands to your hip creases. Press down, sit a little lower, get some traction in the spine. Now, if you feel stable, you might even shift from side to side. You might even challenge yourself more by lifting your toes. Feel the glutes activating and engaging, and then come back to center. Take the palms back to the middle of the thighs with the thumbs facing inward. Keep the arms straight. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, let one shoulder dip. Spinal twist. Inhale, work your way back to center. Exhale, opposite shoulder dips. Inhale, it's center. Exhale, continue to move with your breath. Take one more on each side. Back to center. Now press your feet into the mat, straighten your legs. Back to a standing position with wide legs. Now move the heels out so that when you look at the feet, the toes are in line with the heels. Now, if at any point the distance between your feet makes you feel like your legs are going to split open, shorten the distance by bringing the feet closer together. If you feel like you're not getting a deep enough stretch, then you're gonna take the feet wider apart. So just figure out how you wanna be so that we can do the standing sequence on the other side. So now we're gonna turn to the other direction. You can start by placing your hands on your hips. Rotate what was your back foot now to the back of the mat. So for me, that's my left side. I'm going to bend that knee so that the knee is tracking above the ankle. Now, when I start, my back foot, which is my right foot, is at 90 degrees. I'm going to rotate the toes so that they're at the edge of the mat, so I've got the foot at 45 degrees. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to press to the pinky edge of the foot, pressing it into the mat, really straightening the leg, feeling the arch of the foot lift just a little bit. So setting up for warrior one. Now remember, if your hip points feel that they're more to the side rather than forward, this is where you're going to open your foot to the edge of the mat. Now, with the hips pointing forward like headlights on the car, reach your arms up. Keep a bend in your front knee. Keep pressing to the pinky edge of your back foot. Warrior one, gaze is forward. Let's take one more round of breath here. Now we're going to gently bring the hands down to the hips, and we're going to position that back foot to 90 degrees. First, shimmy that front foot back to your starting point if you widened it. Then look to your back foot, move from 45 degrees to 90. Check down to your feet. Notice if it feels good to position the front heel in line with the back heel, or heel to arch alignment. Give yourself a moment, try both, and then the one that's feeling good, this is the one that we're gonna take our warrior two in. All right, so the front knee stays bent, the arms fly out. Fingers are reaching in opposite directions. Gaze is now to the left middle finger. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Keep your torso centered. Avoid the urge to reach forward or to reach back. Strong posture, warrior two. Lots of activation for the legs. This one can be a little bit challenging to be in for a long amount of time. Transitioning now to our next posture of triangle. Press into that bent leg, straighten the leg. Now reach the fingers forward. Here's where we rotate the arms. Remember, if you invite the block in up to the ankle and let your hand rest onto the block, then you're going to be more supported. So as your bottom hand grounds down, the top fingers are reaching up, imagining that you're trying to tap the ceiling. Now practice opening the chest, gazing up. Notice where you're feeling sensation in this shape. If your neck hurts, rotate your head so that your face is looking down to the mat. Take one more round of breath. On your next inhale, take a little micro bend in your front knee. Let the arms come up to warrior two. Keep both legs straight. We're going to reverse our triangle. Back arm comes to back leg. Reach those left fingers up. And as you reach up, gaze up. Find length. Again, imagine that you're reaching up to tap the ceiling or the sky. Notice if your breath is short. And if so, practice lengthening. Now we're going to transition from reverse triangle back to warrior two. From our warrior two, that right hand comes to the right thigh. The left fingers lift up as the left knee stays bent. Now we can stay like this, or we can take that right forearm to the low back as we reach the left arm overhead, but pay attention to keep that left knee bent. This is our peaceful warrior. Remember, you're only going as deep as your body wants to today. Listen to what your body needs. and then transition to warrior two to set us up now for extended side angle. Now we'll bend that left elbow. Lower the torso, bring the forearm to the thigh, avoid the knee. Inhale, reaches the right fingers up. And then exhale, reach overhead if you want to go deeper. Open the chest rather than collapsing in. Gaze can be up or down. The left palm is facing up to the sky and the right palm is facing down to the earth. Long line of energy in our extended side angle. On the next inhale breath, back to warrior two. Exhale, take your hands down to your hips. Press into your left leg, straightening the left leg. Now remove the block so that you can rotate the toes forward. So again, we're back to our wide legs and all 10 toes are facing forward. Now check the alignment of your feet. Make sure your feet are in line with each other. You don't want one foot forward and one foot back. Keep them in line with each other. Take your hands to your hips. Now this time we're going to take a different option. Rather than our goddess squat, we're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. To set up, inhale, open your heart. Send the shoulders and the elbows back. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze together. And then exhale, fold forward. Once you fold halfway, take your hands from your hips down to the mat. So maybe the fingertips connect or the palms. If you can't bring your fingertips or your palms, and position your hands on the block, or you can use 2 blocks. So take a moment to support yourself there if you need to. And then fold, fold, fold. Release the head. Top of the head is facing down. Nice stretch for your back. And think about pressing the hips back for a deeper stretch. Keep pressing to the outsides of the feet. Bring awareness to your breath. Practice expanding the breath. On your next inhale, take a half lift. Pause here for an exhale. Take the hands up to the hips. Inhale, bring the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. So we're back to a standing position. Give yourself a moment to just get readjusted here. Anytime you feel dizzy or having trouble with vertigo, it's always a good idea to move slower, especially when we're rising from a kneeling or seated position into a standing position. Now, with the legs far apart, let's heel toe the feet closer together. We've got 3 more postures that we're gonna explore in our standing yoga practice for today. And all 3 of these postures are gonna be standing balances. So you are welcome to try this in the free space. If this is something that's new for you or something that you're not really sure about, or your body just needs some extra support today, then I recommend that you come over to a wall space or to a chair, just anywhere that you can position your hand for support. So just know that the wall is your friend. Props are awesome. I highly recommend them. So the first standing balance posture that we're going to come into is tree pose. Let's start by bringing our feet together. Maybe lift the toes, shift forward and back. Just get grounded like we did at the start of our practice. Now lift one heel. And slide the heel towards the ankle of the grounded foot. Your hands can be at your hips. This is going to be our option 1 for our tree pose. Option 2, we can lift the foot, bringing the arch of the foot to the calf muscle. So we're getting a standing balance, but we're also getting a hip opener. We want the knee that's lifted to open out to that side. Now, remember, if you feel wobbly, please bring your hand over to a wall space for support. Also, if you feel wobbly, you can always bring your toes back down. This is still a standing balance practice. We're still activating here. If your foot is to your calf and you want to go deeper, then you can reach your hand for your ankle, connect the sole of your foot to the opposite inner thigh. Now, to really help you with this option, focus on pressing your foot and your thigh together. This is going to help you with your stability. Again, if this is too much, you can bring your foot back down to the calf muscle. Just please be sure that you're not pressing your foot to your knee. We want to protect your knee joint. Now, your hands can stay at your hips, or you can bring your palms to your heart center. If your thumbs are at your heart center, then you'll notice your breath here. As you inhale, feel your chest pressing to your thumbs. And as you exhale, soften. Feel your standing foot doing lots of work. Feel the muscles engaging. Maybe you decide to even lift your arms up and out, imagining your arms as branches in this tree pose. If you feel really solid and stable, you might even explore closing your eyes and noticing how that changes your balance and the sensation. Open your eyes whenever you need to. Slowly bring the hands down all the way to the hips. Disconnect your foot from wherever it is, place it down, let it ground down. Now, lift the heel of the opposite foot that was your foundational foot. As you lift the heel, press the toes to the mat. Get a nice stretch. Your foot probably needs it after holding you up. And then draw circles with your heel to help release that tension. And then take 3 circles in the opposite direction. Now, let that foot lower down. From here, we're grounding down opposite foot. We'll come back onto the toes of the foot that we just stretched. Slide the toes up to your grounded foot. Option to stay here for option 1. Option 2 is bringing the arch to the calf muscle. The knee is out. Find your stability. There's no rush. Give yourself all the time that you need. Remember, do not place your foot on your knee. That is not going to be safe. And if you want to go deeper, you can take your hand to grab your ankle to assist in positioning the sole of your foot up to your thigh. This is option 3. Now remember, if you're in this option, keep pressing your foot to your inner thigh. That's going to help with your stability and balance. And give your grounded foot time to really feel it out. Keep the hands low for more stability. Remember, you can come to the wall on this side. It's very possible that this side might feel totally different. So support yourself how this side needs. And then know that you can change your hand positioning so palms can meet, thumbs to the heart center. Breathing here, taking a moment to notice this breath, this pranayama, this life force energy. And if you'd like to grow your tree branches, you can reach the arms up. Maybe you float the arms around, or maybe you decide to close your eyes. Give yourself a few rounds of breath, of exploration on this side. If the eyes are closed, open them. Slowly lower the arms, bring the palms together, and then take the hands to the hips. Now disconnect your lifted foot, place it down onto the mat. Lift the heel of the foot that was just supporting you. And draw circles with the knees, feeling a nice stretch at the toes and the arch of the foot. And then circle around 3 times in the opposite direction, just letting any tension go from that longer hold. And then the foot comes down. We've got just 2 more standing balance postures to go. The next one, you might or might not want your strap. The next posture that we're going to come into is our hand to big toe. Now, if you're not using a strap, you're going to lift your knee. Remember, your hand can come to the wall. And as you lift your knee, a great starting point would be to take your hand to your shin. And this is a standing balance alone. So you could stay here if this is good for you, and you can support yourself further by taking your hand to the wall. If you're feeling pretty steady with your balance today and you want to go a little deeper, then you can take your peace fingers, your index finger and middle finger to your big toe, and then practice straightening your leg and then maybe opening it out to the side. Opposite arm can open up. So this is hand to big toe. Now, I know that might be a lot when you're first starting this posture. So this is where the strap is going to be really handy. Remember, you don't have to have a fancy yoga strap. You can have a belt or a scarf or a towel, anything that just helps you reach your foot. So with my strap, I'm going to open up one of the ends and I'm going to just let it come down to the ground, and I'm going to bring the arch of my foot to the strap. Now, as I inhale, I'll bend my knee and lift the foot up. And then as I exhale, I can press my foot forward. Now this is really safe because I can keep my shoulders in line with each other. I can even reach my hand further on the strap. And then I can practice opening my leg out. So the hand doesn't have to reach the foot or the toe. The strap can help you make that connection. Remember the wall if you need. Feel it out on this side. The more you reach your hand towards your foot, the deeper you're going to open up. Let yourself come out when you're ready, and then we'll try that on the other side. So remember, the more gentle option is going to be to take your foot to the strap, positioning the strap at the arch of the foot. Get grounded in your foundational foot. Now, as you inhale, bend the knee. You're holding on to the strap. Remember, you've always got the option to just take your palm to your shin and hold here. It's also a really great balance. And then if you're working with the strap, press your foot forward and then decide if you want to open your leg out to the side. Please use the wall if you feel wobbly. Please reach further onto the strap if you're ready to go deeper. Breathe. Try to keep your shoulders in line with each other. Explore the option that's working for your body. And then come out when you are ready. Now that we've hit both sides, we're gonna just work out any tension we might have caused in the hips. So just like we did with the knee and the ankle, we're now gonna floss out the hip. So we're lifting the knee, taking a bigger circle, just releasing any tension there from the hip. And then 3 circles, opposite direction. And then that foot comes down. Inhale, lift the opposite knee, draw 3 big circles. And then opposite direction. You can still do this with the support of the wall. All right, and then this foot comes down. We've got one more pose before we close out our class today. This next pose, the last pose we're gonna do for our standing yoga poses sequence, is dancer pose. We can do this with a strap, or we can try this with our hand. Dancer pose opens up the shoulders, chest, hips, stretches and strengthens the thighs, the ankles, the abdomen. This pose develops greater flexibility in your spine, shoulders, and hamstrings. It also stretches the entire front of the body while strengthening the back muscles, which improves posture. So this is a power pose. This is why we've waited until the end to do it. We want our body to be a little more open, and we want to feel a little more stable in our standing positioning. So I'm going to turn to the side to show you this one. A great way to start is to have your feet hip distance. Little micro bend in the knees, so maybe bounce a few times, just let the knees soften. Pull the belly button towards the spine. Now the reason why I want you to do this is because if you have your knees locked out and your belly forward, now you've got this banana shape which is causing compression in your low back. So by taking a micro bend in the knees and bringing the belly button towards the spine, now we're in a safer alignment and your body feels much better. Try that and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So from here, arms come by our sides, lean over into your left foot, lift your right foot. Now, as you lift your right foot, maybe your foot stays lifted or maybe your hand catches the foot. If your hand cannot connect with your foot, this is where you're going to bring the strap option to connect the two. So you would take the strap to the top of the foot and the other end of the strap in your hand. Now, if you're working with a wall or chair prop, you're going to want to be close enough to bring your palm to the wall or to the chair. If you don't need a prop, reach your palm facing up, and as you hinge at the hips, lean forward, press your foot to your hand. Find stability in your standing foot and keep pressing your foot to your hand. Gaze is forward. Stay as long as you'd like, or start to come out when you're ready. Now, as you come out, you might have noticed that the side of your body that you were grabbing onto your foot, there was a lot of activation in the muscles of your back on that side of the spine. So just know that you're getting a lot of extension in your back. You might feel this later, so you might want to take a counter stretch with a forward fold between each side and then after the second side. So just let yourself get a little counter stretch before we try this on the other side. And then bend the knees to soften. Gently and slowly roll up. Let your head come up last. Standing position. Now we've got one more side to go in our dancer pose. And this time on this side, I'm going to show you what it looks like to use the strap as the option to connect to your foot. In case you try that on the other side and you just need to see what it looks like, or maybe this side is different. So no judgment on using the props. They actually help us grow in our practice, so they're really beneficial. So because I'm using the strap on the other side, I'm going to turn to this direction. Starting off with my feet at hip distance. Finding that comfortable standing position, maybe bouncing a few times, taking a micro bend in the knees and pulling my belly button towards the spine. Firmly pressing my feet to the mat, feeling stable. My toes are spread wide. Now I'm gonna lift my left foot, so I'm gonna shift weight to my right foot, my right leg. First, I'm just gonna start by bending my left knee and lifting my left foot. Now pay attention to keep your knees in line with each other. Try to not let your knee come forward or back, but rather keeping the knees in line to start. Then if you're working with the strap, you're gonna look back and you're gonna take the strap to your foot, however works. Strap is now to the front of the foot, and now the hand, rather than grabbing the foot, is at the strap at whatever distance you need. Now, reach your free hand forward, rotate your palm to face up. Now lean forward, gaze forward. Maybe you even open up. Your hand can start far away from your foot, but you're pulling the strap to bring the foot higher up. Feel the engagement in your standing leg, hip. Breathe. Gently come out once you've had enough. Woo! It's a really concentrated posture. You really need to think about your alignment, the props that you might be using, your gaze, your balance, your strength. There's so much happening that sometimes we forget to breathe. So let's just pause and find that breath. So bring your feet hip distance, relax your arms, soften the knees, pull your belly button towards your spine. Standing in stillness, breathe. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Couple more rounds. Inhale fully to the top of the breath. Exhale, open your mouth, sigh of relief. And again. Inhale to the top of the breath. Exhale, let it go. Now just breathe naturally and spontaneously. Press feet to the mat. Feel rooted down in your feet, and at the same time, feel the crown of your head reaching up towards the sky, lengthening your body, rooting down and rising up. Now, because we did extension in the spine, coming into both sides of that dancer pose, let's get some flexion. Inhale, reach the arms up, fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bring the palms together. Fold forward. Let your hands release and dangle down. Forward fold. Spinal flexion. We can bend the knees if the hamstrings are still tight. Or maybe you notice that your hamstrings are much more open and you can straighten the legs more. If you don't want to have your head pointing down and you feel dizzy, you can always come to a half lift, supporting yourself with blocks underneath your hands. So you decide what you need depending on what your body is telling you. And just enjoy this stretch in the back space, stretching the back of the body, completely relaxing the head and the neck, letting the top of the head point down to the mat. Maybe you bend one knee as the opposite leg straightens. Feeling a nice stretch for the hip after all of the work that it's done to support us in these standing yoga poses. Let's just take one more on each side. As one leg straightens, send that hip back. Get a nice deeper stretch. Feels really good in the body. And then try that on the opposite side. The leg that's straight, send that hip back. Go deeper. And then bend both knees. With the knees bent, slowly start to roll up to standing, really pressing your feet down into the mat. Let your head come up last. Standing pose. Open the arms out, palms are facing forward, back into Dasana. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Come back to your breath. Know that by lengthening your breath, you're going to calm your nervous system, inviting peacefulness in, feeling gratitude for the hard work that you've done throughout this practice. Continue to relax the shoulders, relax the face, breathe. Inhale, reach the arms up, fingertips towards the sky, let the palms connect. Exhale, take the thumbs down the midline, thumbs to heart center. Once the thumbs connect to the heart, tuck your chin towards your chest, lower your forehead down to your fingertips. Namaste. Thank you for joining me.